Hello and welcome again to South Center's Chat. We have a very special guest with us today from OSU Extension, Sam Custer. We'll be right back with our visit with Sam. Welcome to this edition of South Center's Chat. My name is Tom Worley. I'm the director at Ohio State University's South Centers, part of the College of Food, Agriculture, and Environmental Sciences. And here at South Centers, we focus on research, very applied research and extension, and work closely with extension field educators in our region and across the state and beyond. And it's my pleasure to have special guest Sam Custer with us today, who serves as the Assistant Director for OSU Extension. Sam, I want to welcome you and have the opportunity to share a little bit about your background. I know that you can elaborate if you care to. You had a career before coming to OSU Extension in your current role as Assistant Director, and even started an extension at a county educator, and maybe the audience would be interested in your prior background with the Career Technology Center and administration and so forth.
Well, Tom, it's definitely a pleasure to be here with you today, and we thank you for that opportunity. So my background is a little bit different than many in extension. I am an OSU graduate with my bachelor and master's degree. I taught high school agriculture for 13 years. And really enjoyed that opportunity, the ability to develop relationships that continue today with them. So after 13 years, had the opportunity to move into school administration, and I did that at Miami Valley Career Technology Center. I started off there supervising the ag programs, and then eventually ended up as the Director of Personnel and Assistant Superintendent at Miami Valley Career Technology Center. That career center serves 27 school districts in a 5-county area. So it's the largest single-site career center in Ohio, and just a really great place for me to develop some of my leadership skills and some of the skills that I bring to the table in extension. So I retired there in 2012, had 31 great years in the public school system, and thought that it was an opportune time to retire. And after 6 months of retirement, an opportunity came with the ANR extension position, Agriculture and Natural Resources extension position in Darke County. They advertised that as a half-time position, and being a half-time educator, it felt like a right fit for me. Still thought I had a few good years left in me to work, and to be able to use my agriculture background seemed like a perfect fit. So began that in August of 2012, August 15th of 2012, just celebrated my 10-year anniversary with Extension, and it was just a really great experience. And I owe a lot to the community members there in Darke County for my success.
Great. Well, Sam, it sounds like you had more than a few good years. I think this second career has blossomed beyond Darke County and half-time, because you've been serving as the Assistant Director for Ag and Natural Resources for a few years. You're going to tell us just how many, maybe here in a minute, but certainly has worked out well, I think, for yourself as well as the organization, that the experience you had and accumulated as an administrator. And as we all recognize that administrators are really about people, and that being the Director of Human Resources and dealing with the faculty and staff with the Career Technology Center, certainly great preparation for what you're doing now, or at least a big part of what you're doing now.
Yes, Tom. So that next part of my encore job, if you think about one of the great concerts that you ever had the opportunity to participate in, and the audience ask the performer to come back, and they typically come back and perform that encore was something that they really enjoy and have that huge impact, lasting statement. Well, my wife says this is my encore job, so I think she wants this to be one of my last ones. And so back in March of 2020, we all remember that, March of 2020, we always will, with the beginning of the pandemic, just 2 weeks before we sent everyone home from Ohio State with the outbreak of the pandemic here in Ohio. I was asked to assume the interim role for assistant director in OSU Extension, giving leadership to agriculture and natural resources. And that's when all of this began. And it's been just a wonderful experience to work with ANR educators and state specialists and other administrators and commodity group leaders across the state of Ohio to further advance what we do in agriculture and natural resources.
Well, it certainly occupies you full time. I know that it's no longer half time in Darke County. That certainly puts you on a very busy schedule. And I know Sam just jumped off a prior Zoom meeting to come to this one, and probably got 2 or 3 yet this afternoon. So Sam, we appreciate you taking the time out and appreciate the leadership that you've shown during this time period through the pandemic, and a lot of adjustments for all of us. And we're still finding our way along, and certainly appreciate having the opportunity to work with you, along with a lot of ag natural resource educators that we interact with from our programs here at South Centers. But maybe not to talk so much about that. I've had opportunity to do that from time to time, but maybe a general overview of ag and natural resource extension across the state and the program that you lead would be beneficial.
Well, Tom, I certainly appreciate the opportunity to do that, because many times across the state of Ohio, we don't realize the breadth of agriculture and natural resources, especially as it comes from Ohio State University. Many people know about our football program. They know about maybe taking classes at Ohio State as an undergrad or even as a graduate student. But often we forget about the research that is brought out from the university throughout the state of Ohio, through our boots on the ground people and in our county educators. We're very fortunate in Ohio to maintain our agriculture extension agents, or educators as we call them here in Ohio, throughout the entire state. We have 88 counties here in Ohio, and currently we have right at 80 ANR educators in those 88 counties. So great people out there, very diverse backgrounds and specializations that they're able to bring to their communities. And not only those communities, in agriculture and natural resources, we cross those county lines to share our expertise with our peers and our colleagues to make sure that we meet the needs of our communities. But we're so much bigger than those boots on the ground people that are right there in the counties that people know. We're very fortunate to have statewide specialists that also assist us, that can spend all of their time in a specific area, whether that's in agronomy or specialty crops, dairy, beef, any of our livestock areas. And even back in 2020, we hired 6 water quality associates to begin addressing those water quality issues there for Lake Erie and that Maumee Bay area. And that group of people are addressing real life concerns that communities have. So extension's at its best when we can be nimble and respond to community needs and take the questions up to our state researchers on campus, or to bring out the research that's being done in all of our academic departments on campus out to the community. So Agriculture and natural resources, we call it ANR, and I'll call it that for the rest of the interview, is pretty awesome in my mind.
Amen. Yes, it's very far flung, and as you mentioned and briefly touched on, having statewide field specialists. But there's that other layer on campus that some of the researchers also have extension appointments that we engage with, and that they come out and share directly with folks, depending on what the program is. And I think it's just a beauty of extension, not only here in Ohio, but those individuals tend to, spread across and stay up with the discipline and what's happening in other states, and have opportunities to engage in bringing research, not just from Ohio, but beyond, to bear on the problems that are similar here in Ohio.
Yes, our state specialists are critical to us in Ohio, but you'll find our state specialists, they work across the state lines, they work throughout the nation and internationally. And Ohio State is very fortunate to be able to bring in the best and help develop young people into being internationally known in their expertise. And we encourage people to work across state lines. And many of the positions that we're beginning to talk about today, we know that because of resources, because of the demand on the people that we seek out, that we will continue to cross those state lines to take our expertise to other states, and in return gather some of their expertise that we may not have here at Ohio State, and to be able to share that out with our communities.
Yeah. Well, that's very helpful, Sam. And it's kind of hard to get our arms around, even when you're part of OSU. You're always discovering something new, no matter how long you've been around. It seems like there's some other person or specialist or program or center that, didn't know about that. But that's the way the university is structured, and no one can quite always know everything that's happening, it seems like. But where we want to go now, I think you brought some slides along, Sam, where we can talk about some specific things that are happening and coming up, that we can provide a little bit more details about what's going on with ag and natural resources.
So, Tom, as we got ready for today's presentation, kind of looked at some of the things that are going on this month that I thought would be perfect for the update. And so I want to take a look back at a couple of weeks ago, as we spent some time at the Ohio State Fair and had a critical role there, showcasing Ohio agriculture. I want to visit with you a little bit about eBarns, something you may not have heard about, but you may have heard of its cousin. And so we want to bring to you some more of the family. And we all know Farm Science Review is coming up next month, and we're really looking forward to that. And then wrap up with what I think's very important to us, and that's our people. And we have some new hires that we want to talk about. And Tom, you said it well. Extension is all about the people, and I want to go there and visit with you a little bit.
Sure, absolutely. Looking forward. And yes, you are going to educate me about eBarns. That's a new one on me. Again, not knowing everything, there's something new happening all the time. But I am a little bit familiar with the state fair. But you go ahead and tell us about Extension's presence. And I think our dean was involved in the state fair as well. You might want to touch on that, however you want to frame it.
So I think I look back at the Ohio State Fair and Scott Higgins, and Scott is a colleague that I work with a great deal as part of the commodity group, president and CEO at the American Dairy Association Mideast. And Tom Scott said this quote, and I'll just pull out a couple things. Agriculture is one of the largest investors in Ohio. And it's a showcase of what farmers and Ohio agriculture do throughout the state, throughout the year. So I'm just going to pull that out. And Ohio State University, we had banners all over the state fairgrounds this year. And many people may not realize that 4-H is brought to Ohio through the Ohio State University. It's one of our critical program areas in extension. And we saw young people being very successful at the state fair. Really excited to see them as they grow as young people and leaders and develop those responsible skills that move them forward. So that was exciting to be part of that and see that.
Certainly.
Our own Dean Kress, our dean of the college, hosted the Dean's Charity Steer Show, and was able to participate in that and see the people that she brought together to do fundraising for Nationwide Children's Hospital, and a great deal of funds there. I'm not going to quote the dollar amount, Tom, but it was close to $250,000 that were brought in for Children's Hospital through her event there, and what a great experience. And finally, that one other event we talked about before, what I was really involved with, the Sale of Champions. That was amazing. For those of you that may not have saw that, records set for all 11 sales that took place in that auction, and just the amount of money that was brought in for youth. One might not realize that there's caps on all those auctions. So the champion steer brought 6 digits, but the family only, that was capped at 20,000 for them, and the rest would be spread out amongst several youth. So just a real great opportunity. The state fair has done a nice job with that.
Right. I think the excess dollars go towards scholarships. Am I right, Sam?
That is right. Goes through scholarships for many different young people. Tom, I want to share with you. So we were invited by Farm Bureau, another great partner that we work with. Farm Bureau invited us to participate in the Land and Living. So it's a great display of Ohio agriculture. And so in 2021, we introduced iFarm. iFarm is an immersive theater approach. So as you look at the screen here, we're sharing with you the inside of a 26-foot diameter inflatable dome. So it's not a jump house, as people maybe have thought as they walk through the building there at the state fair, but it's a place where we can show 360 video. And I just want to share a very short clip with you, and this will give us all the opportunity to ride in a crop duster plane for the first time. This is as close, Tom, as I want to ride in a crop duster plane, and just participating in this video.
Okay.
So you'll see we had a nice group of people inside here. This 360 video all around us, all in front of us, behind us, on top of us. You're seeing what the pilot of this plane might see. So really cool experience, and an opportunity for us to share different facets of Ohio agriculture. Well, not only did we have the crop dusting plane, but we gave people the opportunity to be inside of a beehive. So we placed these 360 cameras inside of a beehive, and you were right there, part of the swarm, and be able to participate in a couple other different activities that our extension educators did the filming and put these videos together. We look forward to in the future using this kind of technology to teach with, and to help share what we do in extension, and especially in agriculture and natural resources. We're trying to share OSU's research and change behaviors to help people in their lives. So just some quick statistics, Tom. We saw over 6,700 people come into that dome during the 12 days of the state fair. So a lot of people in and out of that dome, and close to 3,400 children, young people, and a very diverse audience. You know, the Ohio State Fair is based right here in Columbus, Ohio, and many of the people that attended had no experience with agriculture. may not have been in the presence of a cow or a pig that we shared with them inside the dome. So it was really cool experience.
Yeah, yeah. It is a great venue to bring the non-farm audience kind of out and experience a little bit of agriculture in so many ways. And even the cow and the calf and the litter of pigs and so forth, a big draw for the little ones, especially and their parents, to witness new life as it begins on the farm.
And I want to move on here. I know we've got a lot we want to talk about, but real briefly, take a look back at eFields. Since 2017, we've had this eFields on-farm research program in place, a great way to share with people across the state of Ohio, but now internationally, what we're doing in at Ohio State through our extension programming and on-farm research across the state of Ohio. You can see the growth of eFields since 2017. We started with 45 trials in those 14 counties, clear back in 17. And then in 21, we had 249 trials in 45 counties. So just tremendous growth with eFields. And we're excited about where we've been with that. We come to you today and just share with you, Tom, that in the 2022 eBarns report was just released, brand new. And when I laid the 2022 eBarns report beside the 2017 report, almost the same thickness, the same number of reports in it. So we're really excited to bring that out. A great tool as we look at some of the research that our state specialists are doing in animal science and in some of the other academic departments, but also to begin looking at some of the research that's being done throughout the state of Ohio by our county educators and state specialists. So really
eFields
fun.
is the crop side of on-farm research and trials. eBarns is all related to livestock production.
Yes, we will see a tremendous amount of livestock, forages, those kinds of things. And actually, for this year, you'll see the 32 reports that are in there. Just a quick breakdown there: 7 in forages, 5 dairy, 4 beef, 7 on the small ruminants, and manure, nutrients, swine, and poultry. So pretty wide array. And as you look at the map there, those colored in counties are the ones where that research was done. So a great start and a pretty diverse population there.
Absolutely. Great to know about that.
This is what that report will look like, Tom. Each one of the reports is a 2-page report that we can open up, and we're really excited about this. Our state specialists on campus they're writing professional journal articles to share with their colleagues, and then people like Garth Ruff that put together this report he's our beef specialist and did some research as an undergrad in swine, and he was able to interpret some state research reports and put that in a form that producers can be able to use and learn from. So a great tool that can easily be interpreted by our producers so that they can move forward.
Absolutely. Great to see it all summarized there, as opposed to reading a very dense text out of a journal, that's for sure, or even a long magazine article. That's great format.
Yeah, so for me, Tom, I usually start those long journal articles with the summary or the conclusion.
Yeah.
And these eBarns, eFields reports are pretty much just the conclusion, so that the producer can get a quick look.
Right.
So you'll find knowledge exchange is a department here at Ohio State in the college that is really working with data and helping to move that forward. And they did a lot of work with eFields. They're starting to work with us with the eBarns. If you want to take a look at eBarns, you can go to our go-to links, go.osu.edu/eBarns 2022 and get a copy of that out there. Want to move to Farm Science Review, Tom? That's coming up here in just a few weeks, a showcase of Ohio agriculture in 3 days. It's a cornerstone of what we do here in agriculture research here in the Midwest. And we call it the show. And we think that there's great things there. What makes Farm Science Review unique is that the education component of it that Extension brings to the Farm Science Review. That's what the vendors and tell us, exhibitors, that we're making the difference there in that show. Finally, I want to talk about the people, Tom. We've got 11 new county educators in the state. We're working on some new ones, specifically there in the southern part of the state: Fairfield, Scioto, Pike, Gallia, Jackson, and soon Highland counties, all brand new educators, many in positions where there haven't been educators for a while.
Right. It's great to see.
Bringing on some statewide specialists. Many of you will get to meet Stephanie Karhoff. She's brand new agronomic systems. Aaron Wilson just started on the 15th as our ag, weather, and climate field specialist. We'll be bringing on a specialty crops field specialist in Northwestern Ohio, Chris Galbraith. And we've got a carbon management position we're working on. But Tom, I want to talk to you about this specialty crop South Center position that we've got coming up.
Absolutely. I know we're working together, Sam, very closely on that, and have a search committee put together, and the job has been posted and being advertised right now. And we're excited about the opportunity to bring on a field specialist, an extension field specialist, to work across the state, much as the position has in the past. I think the difference is this time it will be a faculty position within extension. And we're excited about that kind of an opportunity being posted here that would be primarily based at South Centers, about half-time, and then half-time working out across the state. We're real flexible on that, but the idea is that they would continue with some of the trials that are perennial crops here, like hops, and some other things that we have in the ground that really last longer than someone's individual tenure, so to speak, with us. And so we're really hopeful that we'll draw a really highly qualified group of applicants and be able to attract the right person. That's what we all look for, is a fit. And we're just confident that that person is out there, and excited to work with you as well as the search committee to go through the process for this opportunity. And just as you mentioned, the new one that will be posted up in, actually, I think, housed up in Michigan, in combination with Michigan State, but to serve the Northwest Ohio area. Exciting for this individual to have opportunity to start hopefully roughly the same time, or maybe even before if we get lucky, and someone is available to come to team up and kind of build a program across the state together. And I think that that's one of the very keys that we're looking for, is someone that really is team oriented, collegial, collaborative, all those words, open to partnership, not really trying to do it all alone, but we all recognize it takes a team to be successful. So it's been a pleasure to hear about all these things, and
really appreciate the opportunity to talk about ag and natural resources, and the professional relationship that I have with you, to be able to share that story. And we'll continue to keep pushing that out. And
until next time, we'll sign off for now from this South Centers Chat. Thank you for viewing.